If you'd like to own a home and you're thinking of owning a home within Nairobi County and you want to own a home within a place that's close to a ample children's playing grounds, ample hotel facilities, a large shopping complex that has access to very many shops of all kinds, very many eateries of all kinds, and you want to be in close proximity to big hospitals, in close proximity to schools, to universities, in close proximity to government offices. In fact, there are government offices that have even moved just in that neighborhood. Think no other place than Two Rivers. So if you want to think of, purchasing any of the homes that Centum Real Estate has come up with at Two Rivers, various types of apartments, and you'd like to get more information about them, just text the word Two Rivers to 22365. That's Two Rivers to 22365. What you will do is you will receive an automated response immediately that tells you, thank you very much for your interest in knowing more about us. Here is more information about Two Rivers. They'll tell you. So you can call us on these numbers. You can get the brochures on these numbers. This is how you can get in touch with us and call them, speak to them. They'll walk the journey with you. They say it's only just about having a conversation, right? Walk into it. It's Two Rivers Small Spice. We want to have a conversation about money growing on trees.
So it does grow on trees.
Yeah. People have been talking about, is it possible for money to grow on trees? And you say, yes, money can actually grow on trees. And Isaac Kalua, who is Isaac Kalua Green, the CEO of Green Africa Group, is our guest for the next 1 hour. We'll talk about how you can actualize that whole idea of growing money on trees, how you can grow trees for profit, how to grow, how to get started. Good morning, Isaac.
Good morning, my brother. You're well, Eric?
I am very well. Good to see you again.
You guys are champions. You are the unsung heroes of this nation. And receive greetings from one Dinda Kal, my baby sister girl. And she says that you guys are the best studio, the best discussion in the morning.
Yes, sir.
You are admired by many.
Wow.
And my very good colleagues here. Keep up the good work.
Well, thank you, Isaac.
Yeah. So having a show uninterrupted, no music, no nothing, just dealing with the issues that people really want to hear in a nation. God bless you guys. You're the best.
Asante sana, Isaac.
Keep up doing that.
Good to have you here.
Thank you.
So, in fact, when we promoted and said Isaac Kalua is coming, we said, Isaac Kalua is now officially green.
Yes, it is. Because green has 3 meanings to me.
Yes.
And the first one is kindness. The second one is sustainable livelihoods. And the third one is passionate environmental conservation. Passionate. We need to have a direction in life, a strategic plan, an idea of why you exist, so that when people see you, it's not about money. I'm in business. I started business when I was age 19. By 21 years old, I was already flying out of the country to sell handicrafts and things. But I don't want to be remembered for business. I want to be remembered for what I stand for, green. That is the reason why I changed my name. And luckily, just about a month or so before my father passed on, actually 2 weeks, I asked him, Dad, this is what I exist to do. I feel that I need to change my name. And he asked me, so what name do you want to change to? I told him Green. After all, everyone calls me Green. Do you mind? And I remember that sign on his face. Said, go ahead. And so it became my surname. And that's all I would like to be remembered for. Not for making money, not for doing things. I enjoy mentorship, working with the youth, making things that can make an impact in the world. And that's all I would like to be remembered for. Not out of the motorcycles that I make 180 per day, not because of great things that people would want to. No.
It is
do things for God's glory, period. The rest... tenda wema uende zako mzee.
Kabisa.
Yes.
You'll tell us about Green Africa Group. You'll tell us about, thinking green and going green. And now there's a whole government push for us to go green and to plant trees. And everybody's thinking, all right, so plant trees and then what? Now you'll tell us. City has the day's proverb and is going to welcome you with the proverb.
Wow.
Yes, our proverb.
Can you see how he looks African?
Kabisa.
Man.
Thank you. How easy it is to defeat people who do not have kindle fire for themselves.
Wow.
How easy
It's a
it
Kenyan
is.
proverb. Yes.
Wow.
People who don't have kindle fire for themselves can easily be defeated.
Very easily.
Yes.
What do you
have-
say of that?
We got to have a mission in life. You got to know why you wake up every day. You got to do your best without having to look behind who is following you, because you did nothing but your best for the day that God gave you. And that is the fire that you must have. It must be internal going out. It must excite yourself before you even excite others. Because once you lose that one, anything is like just not knowing where you're going. So you never lose the road. So
If you
it's
don't
as
have
simple as
purpose,
that.
you can
Yes.
easily be
It's
swayed.
as simple as that.
That's a good one.
It's
very
Keep it up.
deep.
It's a good choice of the theme of the day.
Very deep. Asante sana.
very-
Isaac, Green Africa Group.
I told you, as I mentioned earlier on, and all to God's glory, I conceptualized business when I was quite young. And it's almost stumbling into business because of passion for wanting to do good. Stumbling because I woke up into a space that I found women were making basketry and they didn't have a market to sell. And I saw the trouble they were going through. So I chose to say, why don't I start selling handicrafts and getting into all this? And in 1991, I did my first trip to Japan when I was 21 years of age. And eventually it became a business. Today I am in automotive business. We are the first company that is making a Kenyan electric car. We've been developing it for the last about 5 or so years, 4.9 months now. And we're glad and God's glory that we'll be launching a Kenyan car in June this year, 1st of June. Looking forward to have that. We are in automotive, so I'm part of Honda and so many, but I believe this is not what I want to talk about. We are in the automotive sector. We have 14 different units split in automotive into the business of hospitality and home and furnishings, the environmental sector. And what is most important and excites me is the space that I have chosen, or the group has chosen since 1991 to be in impact in Green Africa Foundation is supported by the Green Africa Group together with other partners. This is the organization that 2.5 weeks ago was voted by Kenyans the best environmental organization in Kenya. How humbling can it be to the glory of God? The St. Stephen's Ministry is another impact space, and what I do in church, singing and doing what we must do because God gives us an opportunity to be a blessing to many other people do. And thirdly, we have an impact space that we have created, and a political party that's called the Green Thinking Action Party. It's not business as usual. We're not competing with anybody. We're just doing good.
Right.
And you would be so excited by the members of the Green Thinking Action Party, what they do, what they stand to do, and the space that they stand to be counted. So this is the Green Africa Group doing what is good for common good and for God's glory. And we continue to do these things, and I welcome you to visit greenafricagroup.org and all the other institutions. One of the biggest impact space is the Plant Your Age campaign that has been taken up by Kenyans. When Wangari Maathai passed on, I called on Kenyans to do 71 trees in her commemoration, which was started by the current president. He did the first Wangari Maathai Green Corner at the University of Nairobi Kabete campus, and then we later on it was adapted, and people came back and say, hey, we have done for Wangari Maathai. So it turned out to plant your age. So if you're 35 years of age, plant 71 trees and protect them to maturity and let there be a reason.
So you're planting double your age?
You can do that, because once you start that, then you realize there's a forest that you have not planted.
Started counting. My God.
So simple things. Life is about simple things that you do them for God's glory, and you stand to be counted.
You
and
benefit a
you
lot.
can create your own ecosystem of doing good, and just get guys like you,
the idea
CT,
is now.
Eric, and do here, and we just decide to do good. Right now, I just met with Bishop Moheria, and he reminded me something that we always remind each other. You're doing good? Yes, I'm doing good. Do good in your space, I'll do good in my space. Together we will do good for common good. That's all. Yeah.
Indeed. So, I mean, look, obviously it's green, and we're thinking about the environment. It's planting trees. It's doing other things, I'm sure, Isaac. What are some of those other things that have happened towards the environment that you have been doing and that you want to continue doing?
First of all, is growing trees, not just planting trees.
Sure.
You'll find that about 90% of the trees that have been planted in our country have died. 90%. We report very big numbers. This year we are going to plant 150 million trees. This year I'm going to plant so many trees. But because of our culture, and I'm glad to talk about this, we lack ownership. People don't take responsibility of why? Because first of all, the seedlings were given to you free of charge. So you don't have a feeling. You just got a plant, and if they grow, fine and good. You don't even have the knowledge to to dig the right size of a tree. You don't have the knowledge of getting to do things the best way. You don't have the knowledge to plant which tree to plant. But you see, a tree is just symbolic of so many things that you can be able to do, whether in business, whether in employment. A tree gives you a total example, and I am sure that we're going to talk about this. But I mean, the people that I work with, including the youth, I show them how to make money, green money. I want to be surrounded by millionaires, billionaires, young people who have a purpose in life. In 2015 or earlier thereabout, I just decided, and I found that I'm not communicating. People don't understand what trees are. Trees is money. I like the way you're putting it. And Susan, my dear wife, whom I'm sure you'll bring her here one day maybe to speak, we agreed that we grow trees, seedlings, and sell them. And I told her something that sounded ambitious. I just want to buy a Mercedes-Benz, not because I want a Mercedes-Benz, but because I want to show the youth of this country that you can actually dirtify your hands
and drive a Mercedes.
Get something that we all aspire to do. And 9 months down the lane, hundreds of thousands of tree seedlings, got some money deposit, went ahead to try and bridge the gap in a way that was also supported with further tree seedlings that we grew. We bought a Mercedes-Benz.
And you proved
KAS 988J. Gold color. With very lively and nice rims. And I knew that I'm driving this not because I want to drive a Mercedes necessarily, because that's not what I drive today. I later on had an opportunity to meet youth at Safari Park, and I made, as a chief guest in the discussion, I made my presentation. After everything was done, I dangled a key of a Mercedes. The meeting came to an end. Everyone wanted to go out and touch and feel and see whether it is actually a true Mercedes. My point was home.
How big was
today? How big
was the nursery?
Well, nurseries, you can produce a nursery of 100,000 seedlings in less than an eighth of land. But mine then, of course, is just about a half an acre. And you can do that. Kenyans don't know. Many of them don't know that you can produce as many fruit trees as possible in the millions and sell them all, not for lack of market. But when you do just like 10,000 or 3,000, you don't make any, you don't attract the customers, you don't attract the corporates, you don't attract the numbers that you need to have. So, and there are unique seedlings that you can be able to grow. I like the way you put it, that money grows on tree. Yes, it actually grows. There are places, there are people who live around forests, people who actually can simply wake up as youth in an organized space and collect seeds, what is called the crown picking, and be able to package this, working with Kenya Forestry Research Institute, KEFRI and KFS, package these seeds, and you're able to sell 1 kilo for 1,000 to 6,000 shillings, depending on the type of tree that you're talking about. There's money that can be made in institutions. Just going to an institution, you have your book of knowing this type of a book, you're an expert and you're of all this, and you name the trees and you have a job immediately. You have places that you can grow seedlings. You have mangoes that you can grow and sell, because it's this year's theme, I'm sure we're going to talk about that, International Forestry Day, is about trees and health. There is so much that you can grow for herbal. There is so much that you can grow in medicinal trees that you can make a lot of money. There is a lot of examples that can be grown every day. So this keeps inspiring me, and I believe that what would make our country grow, just like Singapore did and many others, is ensuring that we have what is called meritocracy. We can have what is called pragmatism, being practical, and honesty. If we are honest and you can be trusted by your fellow colleagues, fellow Kenyans, youth can look up to you, you will be able to drive people in a direction that is going to be a blessing to them. So I keep doing these things. You just need to ask, what have I done this week? We talk about emissions. We can't just talk about emissions every day and you are in a situation that you're not giving a solution. So for the last about couple of, talked about 4 years and 9 months, with engineers from Germany, from Italy, from China, we now have come up with a car so that you don't have to spend money on fuel that you need to save, and you are able to do all these things. So it's about solutions. And for the 10 years, as I finish on this point, with the Green Africa Group, what has made me keep going are 3 things. First is about making mistakes that I chose never to repeat. For 10 years, I did that. Today, you make mistakes. Choose not to repeat them. Every day, every person makes a mistake. Even if it is just an alarm clock that you set and you didn't wake up on time, you find, did I overindulge yesterday? Can I avoid that? And that, I made those 10 years mistakes. I chose never to repeat any. The second one that I did is a process that is very interesting. Being a problem solver. Every day we need Kenyans to be problem solvers. There is a problem, big problem, small problem. I made solutions with the Kenya Water Towers when I was the chair of Kenya Water Towers. There are solutions that I chose to work with my team to be able to help us understand what it is. Thirdly, what has made me keep going is the fact that I chose to respect people. Everyone that is alive that God allows you to meet today, respect them. Whether they mean anything to you is not about money. There is a reason why God has put them there. Respect them. And with those 3, it's MPR, and I'm writing a book, so I'm sure that we will be able to read before the end of the year. We'll be able to find this. So MPR has kept me going, and I'm sure that this is what we need to do as a nation, and especially bringing up our youth in this country.
You know, Isaac, when many people think about trees being profitable, there are those that look at it from a forest angle, that you need to actually have a forest, so that you've grown a forest, then you are cutting trees and selling those trees, either to a big company, to until recently to the tea factories. Looking at where you can sell those many acres of trees. Now, speak to the people who have small pieces of land. You have a 50 by 100, you have a quarter 100 by 100, and you're thinking, all right, trees, that's for the guys with forests. For me, surely, I'll grow 1 or 2 trees for shade or to mark the boundaries of my land, but that's it.
Yeah, true. And this is what is lacking in our country today. Lacking because we have failed to simplify the environmental language. We have failed to spice it. We have failed to make it sound sexy, interesting, so that people can be able to be part of it. We keep it in a language that is sounding so complicated. For example, when the president talks about 15 billion trees, which I love, which I have owned, I have taken, I've run with it because I know what it means. He's not talking about forests. He's talking about tree cover. He's talking about our own trees. He's talking about fruit trees. He's talking about medicinal trees. He's talking about things that can easily happen. You have your forest. Think about money. Think what you can be able to do. We need timber every single day. And that is why the thing that we need to apply is about responsibility. And I will go further beyond just the trees, as it were. And if anything that should be remembered of my coming to your studio today, you great people, I would just want one word to be remembered. The word responsibility. We have the responsibility to give ourselves the oxygen that we breathe. Where does the oxygen get manufactured? It comes from trees. We have the responsibility to feed our own children. Personal responsibility is what I'm talking about. Money can come from trees. I have demonstrated umpteen times, and I will never tire. And I have friends all over the country that I just take a trip of 5 hours, 6 hours just to go and exemplify together with them what they are doing in their 1 acre piece of land. These are the unsung heroes. You can make money, you can bring in what you need. So you need money, you'll find it in trees. You need the air that you need as far as good health is concerned, you find it in trees. You need to protect the environment, the wind that is messing us there. So many things and that takes only personal responsibility, Eric. How do we do this? I have shared on my kaluagreen.com website and the Plant Your Age website, how simple things that just how to plant a tree. There are people who don't know, don't have an imagination. You still find people who dig the hole in the wrong way, and they don't know. I enjoy. Just 4 days ago, I was talking to a lady lawyer who has moved from her own county to another county to start a tree nursery in a place. She sold tree seedlings worth 2.8 million. She has just bought herself land, and she has moved with her family in a different county, and she's happy doing this. In how much space? Half an acre.
In how long?
Within less than a year.
Who did she sell the seedlings to?
Many people. And this is where I start. Thank you very much for raising this.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
That's what I want to know,
Yes.
50 by 100?
Yes, less.
Where?
I mean, didn't I demonstrate? Haven't I done bigger projects? We're only talking about Mercedes here.
Yes.
We have done bigger projects.
So I want to talk about this. The small...
So we are now talking of a lady, lawyer. She's gone to college. She's had been admitted to the bar. She chose to set up a tree seedling. First of all, I want, as part of what I talked about responsibility, let's move away from putting our hands up and nipatie seedlings. Why would you be given a seedling to go and plant your age? Why would you be given a seedling for free to go and plant mangoes that you are going to eat with your family? Why would you be given a tree seedling that is Moringa oleifera that it helps your body metabolism and clears all the fat in the body just by eating the leaves? Why would you want me to give it to you for free? We must remove that culture. Someone can afford 20 shillings, someone can afford 50 shillings
to buy
a seedling.
Yeah.
So part of the responsibility I talked about, let's forget about story ya kupewa miti. Nipatie miti nikapande. Nobody now, I've started that and I've told my team at Green Africa Foundation, don't donate trees.
Sell trees.
Sell trees.
So this lady, where did she sell the seedlings?
So she sold to different people who needed that. There is money from the county that has been set aside to buy seedlings. There is money from different places. She got actually a tender from Machakos County or some place to sell seedlings, and she sold all the seedlings, 2.7 million. She's now settled. She's somewhere. I wish you can take your cameras there. I would want to hear the story, because this is just the latest that I discovered about 4 days ago. And every day there is a story. So this is personal responsibility. And we can talk about it until the cows come home. There is the corporate responsibility about protection of the environment and what we take up. No.
Yes.
Look at the buildings that are in this city. Look at, and corporate, I'm not talking about the companies, I'm talking the government, I'm talking institutions, I'm talking all this.
Yeah.
They got the sand that they are building on from some place.
Yes, from the earth. Yeah.
This space is in a place like Machakos, Kitui, Makueni, all these surrounding towns, Kajiado, in a very big way. What did they take as responsibility to return to where they got all this? Yes, they are earning all the money. They are harvesting and getting everything that they need. But what was returned there? That is the corporate responsibility. The distillers who are making and using water every single day, the water companies, what are they returning? Is this just one borehole that they are returning to the community that has suffered from all this, that is dried up with a lot of no food, no nothing? What regulations can we be able to bring? And I challenge our lawyers in this space. I challenge good place, and that could be something that if it is not working, you could go out picketing. If it is not being adhered to. But what are we doing? What is the responsibility of the corporate to return to this place? That is where the money of the seedlings that I'm saying, don't give them out for free, lies.
That's where it comes.
You can buy, you can build communities, you can help communities, you can plant trees along the rivers, you can engage the youth to plant billions of trees within a short time. You need, for the 15 billion trees, you need no government money. Zero. You need no budget from the public. This is responsibility at the personal level, at the corporate level. The institutions that are making money, we need to see them doing wells. 65% of where our water comes from, the wells, is dried up.
Yeah.
Totally. And the not only drying up, but the boreholes do not work. Who is going to wake up those holes? Who is going to ensure that things are happening? There is technology of creating wells that can rejuvenate the water availability in these places. That is the and we can create an ecosystem everywhere, speaking the language that we need to, because God has given us natural resources. I was in a place, the other day, painfully, a place called Likuda. And you find that copper is being harvested, mined in our country. No signage, no license has been given since the last 2021.
Wait, Ikuda
is in a place called Texas. Texas is that place past Mexico, where Mexico is Machakos. So we're talking of Kitui.
Just
I come
over the
from
hill.
Texas.
Yeah.
So,
Ikuda
yeah. The trucks, loads and trucks, and that is not the only place. There are about 4 different mining spaces. Do you know how much the county is getting? through the cess,
Yeah.
200 shillings per truck. Do you know how much 1 ton of copper is? It's $9,000 per ton.
Whoa. Let's take a
Where
break.
is that money going?
let's-
That is the second
Let's
responsibility.
take a break. It's 27 minutes to 10. Isaac Kalua Green is the CEO of the Green Africa Group, and as you've heard, is somebody who's very passionate about the matters of going green. Abraham Chola says, please convey my salams to Dr. Kalua.
Oh.
We grew up together in Langata.
Yes.
You know him, eh?
Yes, very well.
He says he's very, very happy to hear the great achievements that you and Green Africa have made.
Glory to God. Thank you, Alan, and all the best. God bless you. Our parents were working together in prisons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah,
Askari ya
good.
jela. Mimi ni kijana ya kambi.
Yakambi.
Yeah.
Yeah. Abraham says we link you up. We link you guys up. We'll do that. We take this and we call it the Minute Maid break because, as Ndu will tell you, it's a time to.
It's time to rejuvenate, take a
All
moment, and replenish all of. Speaking about replenishing, isn't it?
Yep.
Minute Maid just does that for you as well. Boost your immunity, and you say, okay, all the decluttering that needs to happen after thinking about all this. Take a Minute Maid break. Get any of the fantastic flavors up for grabs, and have an moment.
You're gonna tell me where you got your big ring. It looks nice. Maybe
tell
we
you.
can. Okay, cheers. Okay.
Spice.
The conversation continues. We are talking about money growing on trees. Yes. Plant trees, make money from trees. What kind of trees do you need to think of planting? How do you make money from trees? How do you get started? Dr. Isaac Kalua Green is our guest this morning. Ndu.
So let's look at a practical example. So, just here over the hill where we live. So if you wanted to, put up some trees, and it's clear the place is dry, it's dusty, the rains have failed obviously, but now they are here, but people can actually say, okay, we can care for some of these trees. How do you start? It's easy to say, okay, tree seedling, what's to it, right? Get a seedling, put it in the ground, water it and watch it grow. Do we have to be mindful of what trees you're putting where? So let's look at the eastern part of the country. Let's look at here, Machakos County. What kind of trees are we putting up? How many can you put up? What must you do? How much does a seedling cost? And how do you go about it practically for people to see that, Isaac?
I think this is one of the most unique sessions that I've ever had. Practical. And I like that. And we talked about pragmatism
Yes.
earlier on. So I like taking it down to the ground. I say that if today you went, you came from a season of mangoes, right?
Yes.
Under the trees of mangoes, within another 1 month, there will be some mango seedlings sprouting. Okay?
Yep.
Send somebody with a bucket to pluck out those every seedling that is sprouting under the mango tree because seeds fell there. That's one way. And I can give you a business plan right now. Just grow 100,000, which means 2 people in 9 months. Just keep collecting. Collecting that single sprout is about 2 shillings or 3 shillings or 5 shillings. Put it in a paper bag and water it over a specific period. By the 9th month, if you have not done anything to the seedling, you will easily sell it for 30 shillings minimum. If you take on a next step of getting Zions and get the seedling to be grafted, then and wait for another 4-5 months, you already have moved from 30 shillings or 50 shillings to 120 shillings as a minimum.
By grafting. Where are you getting the Zion
If you
from?
grow 10,000 mangoes, wachana hata mingi sasa, 10,000 only, and you sell at 100 shillings, how much is that money?
$1 million.
$1 million shillings straight away. I, together with 2 very young people, this season, because every season I try to do something interesting and different, I have planned to get into the bush and get wild fruits which have been growing. They are different. If I mention the names, they sound very complicated. But now that you come from a region of Machakos, Mato, and a very interesting Ngomoa, the wild fruits, those ones that were there, very healthy fruits. Just collecting those seeds, making sure that the collection process is the best, so that the type of genus is very well searched and done all this. So I will be trying to grow a minimum of 100,000 seedlings this season.
But
of those
Dr.
forgotten.
Are people still eating mato and...
I do. Go to my website. You'll find how many people have requested whenever it is the harvest time.
If you go to the market today, will you find those indigenous?
And it is not even, are they still eating? My friend, it is medicinal value.
So are we saying people
all
are
this.
not eating them because they're not available?
Because they're not finding
Here's
them.
an
Simple as
opportunity
that.
to make them available.
Yes.
And people will consume.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I am trying to get a target of 100,000 together with 2 young people that I have supported to open a company that is for fruits and selling the same. If I sell at least 100 shillings in another 1 year time or 9 months, I will easily make 10 million shillings straight.
In a year?
In a year. 10 million shillings straight. This is not crap in the streets. I'm talking about serious stuff. And if we put Kenyans to show them what can be done, come to my place. I am now preparing for a different, this is now not the fruits project. I am doing now one of the driest places in the region. It's called Kusiani. So the place still looks dry because it is dry. But I started preparing for it 2 years ago. I wait during the driest season, the driest spell, where the seedling producers in the streets and different places now don't have water, and I am passionate of protecting the trees that they're having. So I buy the overgrown trees, some to my height, some go even to 8 feet. I go and move them from the little package and put them in a big sack, ile ya simiti or ndoo ile ya 20 liter, and allow them to grow, continue there as if they're already planted for another full year. So I already have it's close to about 10,000 different seedlings, and I'm still building
in
the
those
number.
Buckets and
In buckets,
bags.
and some are 15 meters high, others are 10 meters high, and therefore I will take this now to introduce them in a huge hole of about 3 by 3 by 3 feet or 6 by 6 feet. I have invested in a small tiny excavator to do this, because you tell somebody to dig you a hole for 5 and 5, mutakosana tu bure ama charge pesa ya nini. So you want to do it practically. I want you to come to my place in Kitui. I have, and that's the only way you can spice up your team members. Show them. I started doing little funny things like a mad person. Eventually, I saw the president of the Republic of Kenya had to come and see what is being done here, President Kibaki.
What this
in my own
is
place
doing.
to see what is this that is really happening. And for the first time since independence, a national tree planting day was done from Kitui out of that inspiration.
Can I ask a question?
Please do, my brother.
Green Africa Group.
Yes.
Do you have tentacles outside Kitui and outside Nairobi?
By far, Green Africa Foundation has been voted the best organization in Kenya.
In the counties that we have
a project that is called Green Africa Villages.
Yes.
Which is a practical training center.
Okay.
Which is about training people. The people who have gone to Kitui, they have ended up doing what they are doing in their different places. I meet people every day. Okay. And you can never operate like a government. You can only have your people inspired in the direction that you are doing. And when you get that kind of honor, it's really appreciated. Not only in Kenya, but also outside Kenya.
So how old is the organization?
The Green Africa Foundation since 2000.
Okay.
And the Green Africa Group and the inspiration goes back to 2000 to 1991.
So, given the time, both these organizations have been set up, and given the number of people who've been trained and who've been empowered, how broad and how wide would you say your reach is within the 47 counties of this country?
Before we switched into the counties, we
Yes.
were already in about 192 constituencies. People that aspire, people who are working in schools, people who would want to have the sign of Green Africa villages. Currently also partnering with the Council of Governors and inspired by what people are doing in different counties. Well over about 31, 32 different counties.
There are places in this country we refer to as the ASAL areas. Now, parts of Kenya where rain is fairly reliable and greenery is fairly reliable, the growing of trees makes easy sense. But how then do you approach this matter in places that are not traditionally known to have trees or to have forests, but probably have shrubs and are probably semi-arid?
First of all, I believe what I am doing here is more than just growing trees,
Yes.
just inspiring people to get to know to do things the right way.
Yes.
To also appreciate. There is a question that I even as I do my book, the question that was being asked by my peers as we prepare, which tree do you love most? And I couldn't find an answer because every tree is very important. Every shrub is very important. There are shrubs that produce a lot of medicinal value. When we were in Kenya Water Towers Agency as the chair, some of the things that we did was just to protect the environment and just put a fence as a simple thing, and everything that wanted to grow grew. And what happened soon after was water flowing in a specific area. So I believe in letting people know first of all what they need to do. Every tree is important. Every place has got a tree that can actually grow. The places that you imagine are the hardest in preparing trees is just the process of preparation. If you just receive tree seedlings for free, I've been to places, city, where you go and plant trees and people have salt in the pocket. Yes, this is Kenya for you. And you plant a tree immediately. These large tree growing events in the forest.
So someone is planting a tree.
Yeah, and you are killing it immediately
salt.
because I see this space good enough for me to grow maize and other things. And because the arrangement is that for as long as the tree is growing, I'm not supposed to be here. So for as long as the tree is dead, then I am okay being in the forest. So they carry salt, and they pour on the seedling as you plant it same day. Anachota tu kidogo anaweka. So you come back years later, you wonder what you did here. Even KDF fellows are very respected people in the country. You wonder they were here about 9 months ago, but there is no seedling. That is one region. Another region in central Kenya where they have a Shtua program tree. You come and plant your trees and then you leave. They come back 6 months or 4 months later. They pull the seedling and then pin it back so it will not grow. Because for as long as it grows, they are not supposed to be in that forest. They are now supposed to allow the tree grow. So why would they allow it? So education for the people to carry this information passionately, why they need to have the trees, is the first thing. Then the others now start following. And it can never work for as long as you received a seedling for free. And you wonder that it is the leaders who say, where will they get the money? Where do you get money for food every day? You better plant 50 trees or 30 trees that will grow than pretend that you're competing to plant 1 billion trees or so many that will never grow. You just grow them in the book, and then you're trying to work out figures to change. My county has increased the forest cover. This place, come and see what I have done. I've done little, very little.
Dr. Kalua, do you support the Shamba system?
Well, that's another subject for a different day, and that is what I've just explained. And it's about explaining people the importance of doing this. If people know the why they are doing things, you will never have a problem.
You know, I think what I hear Dr. Kalua saying, people already know the benefits of having a shamba and growing.
Yes.
Now you want them to understand that that is a good thing, but planting trees
The
is also
forest
very
is
good
also
thing.
important.
Yes,
It's also
exactly.
important.
Exactly.
Yes.
And I'm saying you can make money out of it.
Yes.
I have made money out of trees.
As a chair of the water towers, of course, you now know figures. Have we improved our forest cover the way we?
I am not
you know,
now. I'm the founder
as a,
chair.
as the,
Yes,
as the former
as the
chair,
founder
as a
chair.
founder chair.
2 terms, did my
And you
best,
did your thing.
gave a report.
During your time, as you were looking around the country and you were scouting and you're getting access to government figures and also seeing the forest, have we improved our forest cover? As we say.
As a country today, I can tell you for sure, without fear of contradiction, that we are at 6.4 6.4% forest cover today.
6.4%.
Yes, that is forest cover. And we are at 12.4% tree cover. Tree cover means the trees that you're planting in your home. You know, a small forest is starting from about half an acre with a canopy that is defined with a number of trees that are there. So we are 6.4 and so much. We have, out of our total forest land cover, we have about, call it about, if I can remember, about 6 million. No, I'll try and refer the figure. But we are now, we lack about 1 million acres is deforested. We are talking about 350,000 acres per for the entire forest that is deforested. But in actual sense, out of the 4.5, I think, million that is our forest in this country, we have at least 1 million that needs to be afforested. And this is where, and I like the campaigns that the ministry is working on, where we are saying that own a forest, adopt a forest. It's a great thing. It should not be government money to do this. It's not even corporate money. People need to be communities. Create jobs so that we can finalize this and change the livelihoods of people.
It's been an enlightening conversation. Kariuki Waweru says, I like the discussion on trees, environment, and climate change. Really enjoyed it. Dr. Kalua, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.
And come again and again, because we need to find ways of making money.
Invite me.
Economy vile inakaa.
But let's start by going with Ndu to
we're
Texas.
planting.
Let's go to Texas. Let's roll.
After Mexico.
Yeah.
After Mexico.
Yes.
Yeah. You live in Mexico. Let's show them the things.
All right. Thank you very much for tuning in to Kenya's biggest conversation.